All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a really incredible new idea, a way to build an AI that could have a perfect memory. I mean, never forgets. And the secret? It's not about storing more data, it's about geometry.
So you probably think of AI as this super smart thing, right? But honestly, most of them have this major flaw, a kind of digital amnesia that stops them from just continuously learning like we do.
And that flaw? Yeah, it has a name. It's called catastrophic forgetting. And trust me, it's a huge problem in AI right now. Think about it like this. When you learn something new, it builds on what you already know. But for an AI, learning task B can literally wipe out its memory of task A. It's completely gone. Imagine learning to play the piano and suddenly forgetting how to speak English. It's that crazy. And this is the exact problem this new approach is designed to fix. For good.
Okay, so how do you even begin to fix something like that? Well, a single researcher had a breakthrough idea that completely flips the script. The question they asked was, what if memory isn't about storing things at all? What if it's about having a map? The big idea is this: create what's called a universal subspace. Now, don't let the name scare you. Just think of it like a giant geometric map for all knowledge. Every single skill, every fact, every memory, it all has its own unique exact coordinate, like a GPS location for an idea.
And this, right here, this is the core of it. The big mental shift. Memory isn't a file you save to a hard drive anymore. No, it's a coordinate. It's a destination on that map. So you're not storing a skill. You're just finding its address in this massive space of everything that can be known.
So, the obvious question is, how does the AI actually add new places to this map, right? Well, it all starts when it messes up, when it gets something wrong. It has to first notice there's a gap in what it knows. And this system has a really cool name for that moment: a surprise. It's not just a simple error. A surprise is a big-time prediction failure. It's a signal that says, whoa, there's a hole in my map right here. Basically, when what the AI thought would happen and what actually happened are way off, it mathematically measures that gap.
And here's the genius part. That surprise, that gap, it becomes a vector. You can just think of it as an arrow that points directly to the missing piece of information on the map. So a failure isn't a dead end. It's a compass needle, pointing the way to something new it needs to learn.
Okay, but wait. A single surprise, that could just be a fluke, right? A one-off mistake, some random noise. To learn a real stable skill, the system has to be sure that this isn't just a random error. It needs to check that the surprise is legit. And the key to doing that validation, the magic number, is 3. You know, just like in the real world, you can't be sure of a location from just one signal. You need more data points.
So what it does is something called geometric triangulation. This is literally what your GPS does to pinpoint your location using signals from a bunch of different satellites. The AI waits to see a consistent pattern of surprises before it decides, okay, this is a real thing I need to learn.
Here's how it works. First, it collects 3 similar surprises, so 3 of those arrows pointing in roughly the same direction. Then, it does some math to find the geometric center of those 3 points, kind of like finding the average location. And that stable center point, called the class center, that's what gets committed to the map as a new permanent memory.
All right, so the AI has its map and it knows how to add new locations, but how does it actually use the map to remember stuff? This is the cool part. It's not like looking up a file in a folder. It's more like the AI is actively steering itself. So every memory on the map has 2 pieces. First, you've got the lossless key. Think of this as the perfect, unique GPS coordinate for that memory. It's generated from what the AI is thinking at that exact moment, so it's always one of a kind. Then you have the compressed skill, and that's the actual instructions stored at that coordinate, like the turn-by-turn direction. And the whole process is called deterministic steering. This is so cool. The AI doesn't just read the memory, it grabs that little steering instruction and injects it right into its own processing. It physically changes its internal geometry. It literally reconfigures itself to become a version of itself that just knows that skill. It embodies it. So when you put it all together, what you get is a never-forgetting AI. And you can see, this isn't just a clever little trick. This is a total rethink of how an AI can learn and remember things, with perfect, lossless recall.
And get this, because you're just storing these tiny little coordinates instead of massive, clunky neural networks for every skill, the memory is unbelievably efficient. We're talking over 100 times smaller than the old way of doing things. You could store thousands of skills in the same space it used to take for just one.
And that leads to these incredible benefits. First, obviously, no more catastrophic forgetting. Gone. You also get that massive memory compression we just talked about. The AI can learn continuously and stably, just adding new points to the map. And the skills are orthogonal. That's a fancy way of saying they are totally separate on the map and don't mess with each other. Learning to write Python code has absolutely zero impact on its ability to compose a sonnet. They're just two different dots on the map.
So you see, this whole framework, it's not just a small improvement, it's a fundamental change. It turns AI learning from a destructive process of overriding old memories into a creative process of discovery, of just filling in a map. And that leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. What actually happens when an AI can remember everything perfectly?